This is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors. Angel Reese fans are going to be pissed.
The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has always been fierce, but a shocking twist has just taken things to an entirely new level. After losing a major sponsorship deal, Reese has allegedly lashed out at Clark in a way that's grabbing headlines and fueling online firestorms. Was this a heated outburst born from frustration, or a calculated move to shift the narrative? Fans, critics, and the sports world are buzzing, and the tension between these two stars has never been more electric. Here's the full explosive story. Caitlin Clark lands $5 million from Ice Cube, why Angel Reese was left out. It began with a shockwave that shook both sports and social media. Ice Cube stepping into the spotlight with a bold, headline-snatching move, a staggering $5 million offer to Caitlin Clark to join his Big Three league. The internet went into overdrive. Fans debated, timelines exploded, and every sports outlet rushed to cover it. But in the middle of all that noise, one name was painfully missing. Angel Reese. Not mentioned, not hinted, not even slipped in as an afterthought. Then, things took an even sharper turn. TMZ cornered Ice Cube at LAX, throwing the question everyone wanted answered. Would Angel get a deal like Caitlin's? His response was swift and blunt. No. No hesitation, no sugarcoating, just a flat rejection. And in that moment, the dynamic shifted. Angel Reese, once a fast-rising force in women's basketball, was suddenly on the outside looking in. This wasn't just about shade, it was strategy. Cube spelled it out without flinching. We're in business to make money. Translation? Caitlin Clark equals revenue. Angel Reese doesn't match the numbers. Period. That statement didn't just echo through sports media, it hit corporate boardrooms too. Sponsors took note. The aura around Angel started to dim. Endorsements that once seemed certain now felt shaky. The hype wasn't translating into the kind of numbers that make investors write big checks. Her fans weren't having it. They rallied online, accusing Cube of sidelining a hard-working black woman who had fought for every inch of her success. But Ice Cube wasn't speaking from sentiment. He was doing the math. The Big Three isn't the NBA. Budgets are tight, risks are high, and every dollar needs to guarantee a return. Caitlin Clark? She's a sure bet. Record-breaking ratings, sold-out arenas, jersey sales soaring through the roof. She's the full package. Angel may bring fire, but Clark brings the formula that algorithms and accountants love. The truth? This was never about good vibes or personal grudges. It's about value. Caitlin Clark prints it. When she steps on the court, attendance jumps an eye-popping 105%. Her jersey sales aren't just up. They're skyrocketing by over 1,000%. The average WNBA crowd when she plays? 15,591 people. These aren't media spins or PR fluff. They're raw revenue stats. Brands don't need to be sold on her. She sells herself. Yes, Angel Reese commands attention. She's built a persona that thrives on rivalry, confidence, and edge. But there's a fine line between headlines and profitability. Corporations invest in stability, not in social media skirmishes. Caitlin Clark's image, clean, marketable, bulletproof. She praises her teammates, sidesteps controversy, and delivers consistent professionalism. Angel's path has leaned into drama, on-court taunts, post-game shade, public spats. For fans, it's entertainment. For brands, it's risk. Then there was the $1,000 shoe rumor. Whispers that Angel pitched an ultra-expensive sneaker to Reebok, only to be laughed out of the room. Whether true or not, perception in branding is everything. Caitlin Clark is already embedded in national ad campaigns, boosting her team's social reach by over 260%. She's not just benefiting from the WNBA's recent surge, she's driving it. While Angel might ignite a viral moment, Caitlin turns ordinary games into must-watch events. Angel has spoken openly about enduring online abuse, threats, and relentless criticism. She's stood firm through it all, backed by her teammates, her hometown, and her family. But in the cold calculations of business, resilience alone doesn't sign contracts. Numbers do. And that's where the gap between her and Caitlin is becoming impossible to ignore. Now, as fans argue over whether Ice Cube made the right call, the stage is set for a deeper dive. One that's not about drama, but about cold, hard facts. Which brings us to the comparison. But here's the twist. What if the numbers tell a story you're not ready to believe? Stay right here. From taunts to trouble, Angel Reese's fight to stay relevant. Angel Reese was supposed to be the perfect marketing dream. The look, the confidence, the unapologetic flair. She seemed built for the spotlight. Bayou Barbie wasn't just a catchy nickname. It was an entire brand that had people talking. She owned her moment, especially when that now famous "You can't see me" taunt went viral, turning her into a household name almost overnight. Suddenly, every brand wanted a piece of her energy. But in the WNBA, the spotlight is far harsher, and for Reese, the glow has started to dim. Her stats have been inconsistent, her on-court performance unpredictable, and more often than not, her name trends for social media posts rather than game highlights. Instead of being Rookie of the Year material, she's been tagged as more of a TikTok celebrity than a dominant player. The cracks really started to show when Ice Cube publicly explained why she wasn't chosen for his Big 3 project. He didn't sugarcoat it. It wasn't about her talent, it was about business. In his words, she couldn't bring the same value that Caitlyn Clark could. That single statement sent ripples through her sponsorship world. Deals didn't necessarily get canceled. They just stopped calling. Campaign offers went quiet. The skincare promotions, the flashy drink collaborations, even that hyped crypto deal, all disappeared without a trace. Behind the scenes, her team is scrambling, fully aware that her market power is slipping. Reese herself has spoken out, saying she feels silenced, misunderstood, and even targeted. But the silence from sponsors speaks louder than anything she could tweet. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark has been rewriting WNBA history. She didn't just arrive, she exploded onto the scene. The Indiana Fever, once an overlooked team, now sells out arenas everywhere they go, home or away. Her arrival didn't just boost interest, it transformed the league's entire financial picture. Fever jersey sales skyrocketed by an almost unbelievable 1,093%. That's not hype. That's a revenue earthquake. Clark's games account for over a third of total WNBA attendance. When she's on the court, the stands are packed. When she's not, the atmosphere shifts to something far quieter. League Pass subscriptions tripled after her debut, and in just 3 months, she racked up more than 800 million social media views. More than the NBA, more than the NFL. She's not just a player, she's a one-woman economic machine. And brands notice. That's why Caitlyn's face is plastered across national commercials, while Reese's sponsorships have narrowed to smaller-scale projects like Reebok drops, often clouded by rumors and criticism. One is expanding the league's reach. The other is still trying to expand a personal image. Ice Cube's business decision made that clear. He offered Caitlyn $15 million and a docuseries opportunity. When she declined, they didn't pivot to Reese. They simply moved on. The contrast is stark. Caitlyn doesn't chase headlines. She becomes them. She's not just building a brand, she's securing a legacy. Reese, meanwhile, is working hard to stay relevant in a league where public perception can shift in a matter of games. The pressure is showing. Those sharp clapbacks, the confident smiles, and the public rivalries that once fueled her rise are now part of the reason some brands hesitate. In the business world, unpredictability isn't edgy, it's expensive. And while controversy once seemed like her superpower, it's now being treated as a liability. Even her social media has shifted in tone. Fewer spicy captions, more reflective posts about growth and community. But the rebrand can't erase the old image overnight. Sponsors have long memories, and in a market driven by consistency and reliability, viral doesn't always translate to valuable. Reese is learning that in the pros, the game is as much about business strategy as it is about basketball skill. And in both arenas, competition is fierce. And as these two rising stars take such dramatically different paths, the tension between perception and performance is only growing. Which brings us to the next chapter, the fans' reaction. So, what happens when loyalty, hype, and hard numbers collide? Stay tuned. Fans blast Ice Cube for choosing Caitlyn Clark over Angel Reese. Angel Reese might argue that she's being misunderstood, but the blunt truth? She was overvalued, and the market corrected itself with lightning speed. Almost overnight, the conversation shifted. Her loyal supporters rushed to her defense, flooding timelines with accusations of double standards and hurling criticism at Ice Cube. But no trending hashtag can rewrite the reality of a balance sheet. Cube isn't stressed, canceled, or even rattled. He's simply calculating. In his eyes, sinking millions into a player whose brand seems more unstable than profitable isn't smart business. It's gambling, and he's not in the mood to roll those dice. The fallout didn't just cost Reese a major payday. It stripped her of leverage. And while she scrambles to reframe her public image, Caitlyn Clark is still smiling her way through endorsement signings and dropping flawless no-look passes on the court. The shift was swift and unapologetic. According to Yahoo Sports, Ice Cube openly admitted the Big Three couldn't, and wouldn't, offer Reese the same $5 million deal they had extended to Clark. In his words, the Big Three isn't in the chaos business. They're in the consistency business. And in Cube's mind, Caitlyn Clark is the poster child for that model. She's been proving that you don't have to stir up controversy to dominate headlines and pull in numbers. Reese, on the other hand, had her moment. She was the face of intensity, fire, and viral showdowns. But somewhere along the way, she confused attention with achievement. While Clark was quietly building stats, breaking attendance records, and locking in sponsors, Reese was trending for her clapbacks, sideline taunts, and off-court drama. The kind of spotlight she was under burns hot, but it burns out fast. Once that momentum faded, so did the brands. Endorsement calls slowed and then stopped. The hype that once surrounded her name started to feel like yesterday's news, and when Cube weighed the cost against the potential return, the decision was almost cold in its simplicity. No production, no profit. This wasn't about disrespect. Ice Cube didn't take a personal shot at Reese. He made a business choice. Caitlyn Clark is a proven revenue engine. She fills arenas, sells jerseys, and draws viewership without demanding damage control from PR teams. Reese, however, had built a reputation that, while magnetic to fans, made corporations hesitate. The high-energy rivalries, the unapologetic trash talk. It's a thrilling narrative for sports media, but for cautious investors, it's a red flag. And now, as Clark's face pops up in national commercials and her bank account swells with new deals, Reese is facing a different reality. She's no longer being treated as Clark's counterpart, not in the boardroom, not in sponsorship talks, and not in the public eye. What was once seen as a rivalry has evolved into something else entirely. A gap. Reinvention might be on the table for Angel. She's resilient, no doubt, and she's been through enough storms to know how to stand tall. But the industry has moved on for now, and the pace of that shift is a reminder of how ruthless the business side of sports can be. Angel Reese thought she was the main character in this chapter of women's basketball. Ice Cube's decision was a sharp reminder that, in the current script, she's not even in the next scene, which leads us directly into the past clash between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark. But what if that old rivalry was never truly what we thought? Keep watching. The rivalry that redefined women's basketball. In 2023, women's college basketball witnessed a spark that would ignite one of the sport's most intense and widely debated rivalries: the fiery on-court exchange between Angel Reese of LSU and Caitlyn Clark of Iowa during the NCAA championship game. From the very start, the matchup was destined to be unforgettable. Caitlyn Clark had been on a record-shattering run, torching defenses and leading Iowa past powerhouse programs like South Carolina with jaw-dropping performances. She wasn't just scoring, she was rewriting what was possible in the college game. Angel Reese, on the other hand, had been a steady force all season, an unshakable presence who commanded both ends of the court, dominating the boards, delivering big plays, and wearing her confidence like armor. Reese wasn't afraid to be outspoken. and her personality had become as much a part of her identity as her basketball skills. The championship itself was electric from tip-off. LSU seized control early, with Reese delivering crucial rebounds, key putbacks, and relentless defense. Clark, true to form, answered with deep, impossible-looking threes and razor-sharp passing that kept Iowa alive. The tension in the arena was thick, every possession loaded with meaning. Then came the moment that would overshadow everything else. In the final seconds, with LSU's victory all but certain, Reese turned toward Clark. She raised her hand and waved it across her face. The "you can't see me" gesture made famous by wrestler John Cena, before pointing directly to her ring finger, a silent declaration that she was about to secure the championship hardware. The gesture wasn't random. Clark herself had used the same move earlier in the tournament, most memorably during Iowa's Elite Eight win over Louisville. But while Clark's taunt was largely celebrated as a show of competitive spirit, Reese's was instantly met with outrage. Social media lit up with accusations of poor sportsmanship and disrespect. The criticism was swift, and it was loud. Supporters of Reese were quick to point out the glaring double standard. Why was Clark's gesture seen as fiery and fun, while Reese's was treated as an unforgivable offense? The conversation quickly grew beyond basketball, touching on larger issues of race, gender, and how women athletes, particularly women of color, are judged when they show emotion or swagger on the court. The backlash and defense played out on a massive scale. Celebrities, journalists, and fans joined the debate. Some accused the media of bias, framing the same action in vastly different ways, depending on who performed it. Others argued that trash talk has always been part of competitive sports, and women should be allowed the same freedom as men to display it without backlash. In the days after, Reese didn't back down. She made it clear that her gesture wasn't personal toward Clark, but rather a statement against the way Clark had been treated as untouchable. "All year, I was critiqued about who I was," Reese said in post-game interviews. "I don't fit the narrative. I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing." Clark herself diffused any notion of a feud. She publicly defended Reese, telling ESPN, "I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. She's a tremendous player. That's what makes this game fun. People get to show their personality." Her comments helped cool the firestorm, but the incident had already cemented their names together in the public imagination. That single moment became more than just a viral clip. It was a cultural flashpoint. The 2023 championship broke viewership records, with millions tuning in, many drawn by the drama, intensity, and unapologetic personalities on display. Sponsors, analysts, and broadcasters began to realize that this rivalry could be a goldmine for the sport's growth. Since then, the narrative around Reese and Clark has been layered and complicated. On the court, they battle fiercely. Off it, the media often tries to pit them against each other, even though both have acknowledged each other's talent. Reese leans into her villain image, embracing the role that her critics assigned her. Clark remains the calm, sharp-shooting star, her reserved demeanor serving as a sharp contrast to Reese's bold energy. What keeps this rivalry so magnetic isn't just the difference in their styles, but the way it mirrors larger cultural debates. It forces fans to confront their own biases about what women athletes are allowed to do, say, or show emotionally. For some, Reese represents raw authenticity, a refusal to change for approval. For others, Clark embodies controlled excellence and competitive poise. Together, they have helped thrust women's basketball into a spotlight it hasn't seen in decades. The "you can't see me" moment may have lasted only a few seconds, but it continues to echo in conversations about fairness, representation, and the shifting perception of women in sports. And as both athletes carve their paths in the professional game, every matchup between them carries an added charge, fans wondering if the sparks from 2023 will ignite again. Which leads us straight into the next big question: analysis of Caitlin Clark's endorsements. Just how deep is her off-court influence, and why are brands lining up for her in ways we've rarely seen? Stay tuned. Breaking down Caitlin Clark's endorsement empire. Caitlin Clark's rise in basketball hasn't just been about breaking records. It's been about building one of the most powerful endorsement portfolios in modern sports. Even without counting the recent Ice Cube offer, her brand deals are a masterclass in blending global giants, lifestyle names, and personal hometown connections into a marketing empire that feels both massive and authentic. At the center is her groundbreaking partnership with Nike. What began as a college NIL deal in late 2022 turned into an 8-year, $28 million contract when she entered the WNBA, one of the largest ever for a female basketball player. It includes a signature shoe, a personal logo, and places her alongside icons like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, proving Nike sees her as a long-term force in the game. Gatorade came calling in December 2023, making her only the second female collegiate basketball player on their roster. More than commercials, the deal included $22,000 and later $25,000 donations to the Caitlin Clark Foundation, which funds youth programs in education and sports. This philanthropic focus deepened her appeal beyond the court. In October 2023, she became the first college and female athlete to sign with State Farm. Appearing alongside Jimmy Butler and Reggie Miller, Clark expanded her audience to fans across sports, building an image of both relatability and elite performance. Her influence also extends into lifestyle and empowerment campaigns. Buick's See Her Greatness initiative used her story to inspire female athletes before the 2023 NCAA tournament. Bose brought her in to promote their wireless headphones, showing her marketability outside sports. Shoot Away, a basketball training brand, tied its partnership to her roots, even donating a shooting machine to her high school. Hy-Vee, the Iowa grocery chain, has been with Clark since 2021, releasing Caitlin's Crunch Time cereal and linking sponsorships to her scoring achievements. The partnership cements her hometown hero status while boosting charitable causes. Some partnerships go beyond branding into advocacy. In 2022, she joined H&R Block's A Fair Shot campaign to push for equal NIL opportunities and educate athletes on taxes. In collectibles, her trading cards with Topps have fetched record prices. In April 2024, Panini America signed her as the first female athlete with an exclusive deal, cementing her crossover appeal with fans. Her reach even extends into economic campaigns. She joined Goldman Sachs in advocating reforms to the Small Business Administration. One of her earliest deals, with the Vinyl Studio, a local female-owned apparel brand, reflected her support for community businesses right from the start. In March 2024, she signed with Gainbridge, the financial platform that sponsors the WNBA's Indiana Fever Arena, connecting her directly to her pro team's home city. 2 months later, Wilson Sporting Goods announced she'd become the first athlete since Michael Jordan to launch a signature basketball collection with the brand, a rare milestone in sports product history. Clark's portfolio strikes a balance. Global heavyweights like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm deliver massive reach and revenue. Grassroots partners like Hy-Vee, the Vinyl Studio, and Shoot Away reinforce authenticity, and mid-tier brands like Buick, Bose, Panini, and Gainbridge bridge lifestyle appeal with sports culture. Financially, the results are staggering. In 2024, Clark earned an estimated $11 million, ranking number 10 on Sportico's list of highest-paid female athletes worldwide, almost entirely from endorsements rather than her WNBA salary. Her marketability currently outpaces her professional earnings by a wide margin. But her brand story isn't just about dollars. It's a blueprint for how modern athletes can dominate off the court, stay authentic, diversify across industries, and align with causes that feel personal. From national commercials to community-driven initiatives, Clark's deals show how influence can grow far beyond the game itself. And that influence, and the shifting sponsorship spotlight it represents, is part of what makes the tension between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark so fascinating. Because in the high-stakes world of sports marketing, every partnership, every donation, and every logo on a jersey tells a story. And lately, those stories have been sparking more than just applause. Caitlyn Clark's endorsement journey shows how talent, strategy, and authenticity come together to build a powerhouse brand. But how does Angel Reese fit into this picture? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.